Greetings all, this is the VHS Dude, and I've got a special announcement about the VHS show. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to cancel it or anything. I've still got plenty of tapes to go through, and I plan to go through them. It's just, things are going to be a little different from this point on. You see, here's what's been happening. In a few weeks, I'll be graduating from art college, and that means I won't have access to any of the equipment there, because you see, I've been shooting all these episodes on cameras that I've been renting from the school, so I won't have access to them in a couple of weeks. I'll also be moving out of the apartment that I've been shooting all these episodes in, and chances are you'll probably never see that big couch or the big-ass TV again. So how am I possibly going to continue the VHS show without cameras? Well, don't worry, I'll find a way. And even if I don't get around to shooting any new episodes, don't worry, I'm also working on a book for the VHS show that will contain over 30 reviews of many of the films I've reviewed on the show and others I haven't gotten to yet. But mainly, I just wanted to talk about how much success the VHS show has had since I started it back in early March. I've received lots of interesting responses to the reviews I've done, like when I reviewed Jake Speed, a couple of college students from a North Carolina film school said that Wayne Crawford, the star of Jake Speed, was their film teacher and that he touts Jake Speed as his best film ever. But probably one of the most interesting responses I got was when I did Steel Justice, and the director, Robert Boris, set up his own MySpace account, and he's linked me as people he'd want to meet. I don't know if he wants to shake my hand or punch me, but hey, at least he knows me now. I've also received my fair share of negative reviews as well, and most of the negative reviews seem to be coming from the review of the Spaced Out Japanimation box set, and the reason is there were a lot of people who were fans of the TV shows in that set that I ripped on, that they had to go into these big arguments about why these characters spoke like this, or why I shouldn't compare it to Power Rangers, or why the villain looks like Hitler, and it didn't make any sense to me. But I really hope that people know that I do all these reviews as humorous, so people will find it entertaining. I mean, if I just talked about how great these films were and just praised them as all hell, no one would watch this show. I've also had a lot of people say that a lot of the movies I do on the VHS show are already available on DVD. Now, my original intent of the show was to focus only on films that were on VHS only and not on DVD yet, but as the show went on, I wanted to raise awareness of these other obscure movies. Yeah, they're on DVD, but I mean, how many people have heard of Jake Speed, or The Osterman Weekend, or Totem? But really, I just wanted the show to be a celebration of the whole VHS format, because for me, I feel that VHS is the true home theater experience, and once I finish my book, I'll go over that philosophy with you. Now, I've also been getting a lot of questions as to where I've been finding all these rare tapes. I started out acquiring these tapes from CD Warehouse and Cheapo, which are stores that sell used DVDs, CDs, and tapes. But I think they were onto my game because the more common films like Star Trek First Contact was like $1, but the more obscure films like Steel Justice and Jake Speed, those cost anywhere from $3 to $5 a tape. Recently, most of the tapes I've been acquiring have been from this Hollywood Video that's trying to usher out their VHS library by selling every VHS tape for $1. I actually found more rare tapes at Hollywood Video than I did at Cheapo or CD Warehouse, and since they were $1, I naturally went crazy with them. I would walk out of there with sometimes as much as 20 tapes in big grocery bags. I remember one day when I bought about 15 tapes in one grocery bag, and it was pouring rain out. The rain ripped through the bag that I had to stop at every store along the way to get a garbage bag or a grocery bag to help me out along the way. I was lucky that none of the tapes were damaged in the rain, but I was even luckier of the fact that the bag held out just long enough for me to get it inside the house. Now, I've also been receiving a couple requests at the VHS show, and I've been able to fulfill most of them. Like, a couple of people a while back requested that I review Ninja Warriors, and finally I found a stained yellow copy on the shelf of a Hollywood Video for $1. So I picked it up and reviewed it. And I also received tons of requests for a couple Charles Band films like Robot Jocks and Totem. A couple people even requested that I review The Osterman Weekend, even though I found it was a very good film, but I picked it up and I reviewed it anyway. Now, I've also been receiving a lot of pleas from people that I should put up the full movie of some of the movies I review on the VHS show. And I'd like to. I mean, a lot of these are rare films that aren't on DVD yet, and I do want people to see them, but the problem is, I'm not sure what's up with the rights of them. I mean, a lot of these films are from rare companies that are long dead, and I'm pretty sure the rights for them have expired, but I'm not sure if they're bought by some other company. but I do want these films to be seen and get a proper DVD release. So if any of you guys have information on these films, if you're starting a petition, or if you're trying to get companies to release them on DVD, then, you know, send me some information. I'd love to help out. And don't worry, we've still got plenty more great tapes to go through on the VHS show. We've got Alienator, which is about a female cyborg who tracks down a criminal to Earth. We've got Doll Man vs. Demonic Toys, which is about a small cop who fights dolls, pretty much. We've got Force of Evil, which is the very horrific dramatic role by Lloyd Bridges. Got the Killings at Outpost Zeta, which looks like a B science fiction film, which I can't wait to watch, and tons of other films to review. And that's just what I have here. I mean, there's still plenty at that Hollywood Video to go through, and I plan to go through there again and again and again until they run out of VHS tapes. And even if I don't shoot any new episodes, I'm still going to write about these films, so check back on my blog for updates, and I'll keep you informed of what's going on with the VHS show. But if I do shoot any new episodes, they won't be in this apartment with that couch or that television or that table. So until we meet again, please remember my motto, please be kind and rewind.